Hey guys, it's Ryan here with DP Marketing.Services. Hope you're doing well, staying safe, and yeah, it's a crazy time right now, but hope you're hanging in there. Thanks for tuning in. Coming at you video. So, look, you're seeing every commercial on TV and getting every email from everybody saying, "Hey, we're in this together," and there's a whole lot of stuff on Facebook where people seem very divided right now on how the United States or the local government or whatever country you're in watching this video, how you should respond to COVID-19. And look, it's an interesting time, right? Like there's not a book, like, hey, there's a book on digital marketing for plumbing and HVAC contractors, right? There's not really a book on how should you manage your business or state or whatever in a global pandemic and economic meltdown. So a lot of questions that guys are having, is just about like, how should you think about it? What should you do? And actually a couple weeks ago, I was really fortunate to meet with some contractors who broke their in-state quarantines and came to Oklahoma where we are. And they all kind of gathered at this like awesome area at a lake in Oklahoma. And I was really fortunate enough to be able to tag along. And in the process, one of the conversation points was like, is COVID-19 about, is it a hoax? Is it about government control and overreach? And, is it real or whatever? And honestly, where I am right now, there's a lot of misinformation that's floating around on social media. I'm not going to try to chime in and weigh in one way or another. My thing as a marketer is at the end of the day, if you think it's about government control, if you think it's a hoax, it really is irrelevant. The only thing that really matters at this point in time, in my opinion, is what your customer feels about the situation, because people tend to make irrational decisions for reasons that are kind of unusual sometimes. And so what you think about it doesn't matter. What your customer feels about it is everything. So try to keep that in mind. So try to put in best practices on your call script. So if you're answering the phone or if you have a team that answers the phone, maybe some pre-screening questions. Hey, is anyone in your home sick or having any sort of symptoms? Make sure, hey, is there any sort of like at-risk need? Are you immunocompromised? Anything along those lines. Try to see if there's any sort of anxiety. Thank you, Siri. Siri's confused. But see if they have any signs of fears and anxieties about their own personal situation. If they don't, cool. Maybe you have less safeguards you kind of have to keep in mind all the time. If they do have concerns, if they're anxious, if you find that, they've been struggling with different sort of ailments and they're really anxious about letting outsiders in their home, whatever, great. Then do what you can to alleviate their fears. So for most contractors, right, before all the COVID-19 stuff, they would make a big show out of putting booties on at the front door. And requesting permission to come in the house, right? Because they want to show that they're going to be respectful to property. It's a little bit theater at that point, right? But it's all about showing the customer that you're different and you take their property seriously. This, in a lot of ways, is kind of no different. So even if you think, hey, the government's trying to control you and has no business doing that, when it comes to your customer, if your customer feels like they're afraid of having someone in their house, great. Help alleviate that concern. Because here's the thing a lot of guys I think struggle with, especially as they grow from like a startup into like the early 7 figures, is at some point they struggle to catch this one lesson. And here's a lesson. If you're a plumber and you started your business and you're trying to grow, the biggest thing you can start to learn is that you are not in the business of plumbing. If you're an HVAC contractor, if you're starting your business, you're trying to grow and you're trying to get things to the next level, you are not in the business of heat and air. You are in the business of serving your customers, of solving their problems, of dealing with their anxiety and their concerns and solving them. That's what you do. So before you think, hey, I'm just a plumber, it doesn't really matter, I've got great white blood cells, or, this is about a scam. It doesn't matter. If your customer is anxious about the situation, about who they have in their house, then please respect them, accommodate them, use it to your advantage. Make sure you take every precaution in those cases. And you might think, well, it's just theater. And if that's what it is for you, great. But for your customer, it's about peace of mind. And from everything your business does, from flat rate pricing to offering maintenance agreements to the way you put on booties at the door, everything you're doing is providing peace of mind to your customers. This should be no different. So hang in there. Try to think about this as at a higher level. There's a whole lot of ways to get sucked down different rabbit holes on social media. I have no interest on trying to go down a rabbit hole or, perpetuate something down those roads. But please know, it doesn't matter what you think. It matters about your customer. And that's the first lesson of business, right? From like day one, when you started up, that's the rule. That same rule has not changed. Take care of your customers. Solve their problem. It's not a plumbing problem. It's not a heating or cooling problem. You're in the business of customer service, so serve them. This is kind of an out there video for us because typically we do, marketing stuff, because obviously marketing stuff. But I'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts? How are you changing your business model in the wake of COVID-19? And yeah, again, in the foreseeable future, it looks like the virus will be a part of our society. So we have to adapt to figure out how to continue to work with that contagion, in the general public. But yeah, I'd love to hear from you. What questions you have, what issues are you running into, how are your customers facing? And I'd love to hear any stories. So as always, guys, leave a comment below. Follow us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. I'd love to hear what you guys are up to in your neck of the woods. And if you were with us at the lake a couple weeks ago in Oklahoma, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys.